Okay guys, are you ready for a new one? Here comes a new one. Every minute sucks. Hello all, sorry I haven't posted in a while. Did anyone miss me? OBP, finals, god I hate them, what a waste of time when I... Sorry, wrong group. During finals week I was able to squeeze in a shift at my city job. Actually I have no idea it was scheduled until my beeper went off and I called the dispatch office. Tay, where the fuck are you? I know they like me. I just know it. I worked the 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift in the lovely city of Everett, Mass. Or as some of us call it, Everett. A city close to Boston where the IROC is king and an errant cigarette touching the spritzed big hair of a woman could cause flashbacks to the day when Michael Jackson ran around doing his impression of the Human Torch. I tell you, if it don't touch the ceiling, it ain't big enough. And aside, I'm beginning to think there's literally a hierarchy involved when several women get together. Obviously, the one with the biggest due is the alpha female. The position is tenuous as the alpha female can fall to the many natural disasters in the wild. High humidity, bad for dew, hair too high, raising the center of gravity, instability, and the ever-present danger, errant cigarette waving. The ability to chew mini sticks of gum and smoke menthol cigarettes at the same time is also a good indicator of alpha female material, but I digress. The shift started off well. I sat at Dunkies for about an hour with my partner Pam. We call her Medic 007, licensed to kill. And we counted the number of cops that came in and got Boston cream donuts with their coffee. Many. I tell you, the best way to case a city to see if their police department is on the ball is to hang out at a donut shop and see how overweight most of them are. Judging by the girth of most of Everett's finest, I suspect that many crimes can be committed while the city sleeps and the cops eat. The first call of the shift was for a diff breather, a 50-ish-year-old male experiencing difficulty breathing. Upon arrival, we went up 2 flights of stairs to the top of the floor of a triple-decker. A middle-aged man was sitting on the floor of his living room, his back against an easy chair. His skin color was dusky blue, positive Smurf sign, and he obviously was having a hard time breathing. I reached for his wrist to check his pulse while my partner applied an oxygen mask on him. I listened to his lungs and heard a fine, wet, crackling noise every time he tried to breathe. Pulmonary edema, a condition where fluid from your body gets trapped in the lungs, which slowly starts to fill. It's kind of like drowning in a swimming pool, only you're in the living room. That fine crackling noise was the sound of little bubbles of air traveling through bronchial tubes filled with liquid. Try rubbing together a bit of your hair near your ear. That's the sound. Anyway, he wasn't getting any air into his lungs, so the decision was made to intubate him in the house. Ah, intubation. The so-called fresh air pipe. The air piccolo. This man would be playing it soon. Pam set up the equipment and made her first attempt. Since the guy was still rather conscious, he objected to her trying to ram the equivalent of a giant pixie stick down his throat and batted her away. She tried again and was rewarded by getting her glasses knocked off. So it was my turn. He was now on his back. I kneeled near his head. Pam held onto both of his hands. I slowly inserted the lighted blade that would lift the fleshy glottis and illuminate my goal, the trachea. He promptly bit down on the blade and started to twist his head back and forth. Joy. Another crew had shown up at this time and helped hold his head still. I again inserted the blade and was rewarded by the man's dinner, now several hours digested. The menu? Pasta. Well chewed, I was happy to note. Some bread and a rich red marinara with sun-dried tomatoes. The heavy sour smell of partially digested garlic and marinara rose to tickle my nostrils. I avoided most of the onslaught by turning his head to one side. Unfortunately, that was the side occupied by Pam, who was holding his head still for me. Thanks a lot, asshole. She hissed at me, too soft for the family to hear. But Pam, I thought you liked Italian food. Her glower deepened. With all the struggling this man put up, he was beginning to tire. His oxygen levels weren't that high in the first place, so in a short time his struggles lessened enough so that I could pass the tube through his trachea and into his lungs. I knew it was in the lungs as a frothy white stuff started to pour out of the tube and onto the floor. The amount this man put out was simply amazing. Some of the froth was pink, indicating that I caused a lethal trauma to his throat while trying to pass the tube. Oh well. We rolled him onto a scoop stretcher and strapped him down and began the tedious process of trying to carry this 200-pound man down 2 flights of stairs. The ironic thing throughout the whole process was that since he was getting more oxygen now that he was intubated, his level of consciousness rose, enough for him to get combative again. Picture this: 4 people carrying a man on a flat metal board, the man's hands having wiggled free from their restraints and are trying to reach out and pull out the plastic tube I just inserted. The people at his side are trying to restrain his hands, but his arms waving wildly about is causing the center of balance to shift, causing everyone carrying him to rock back and forth, knocking over lamps and vases. His wife scurrying this way and that, saying, "That's okay, don't worry about it. With every new thing we knock over." That's an EMS call. Every minute sucks. After hauling him down the stairs and knocking over some bric-a-brac on the first floor as well, "That's okay, don't worry about it," we finally get him into the ambulance, where I turn on the suction unit and suction out at least a liter's worth of froth from his lungs. Cleaning one of these units is a pain. Fortunately, we loaded this guy into the other ambulance. I won't have to clean it. We get to the hospital, and as we slide him off our scoop, we notice he has shit himself during transport. A long brown smear covers our once shiny and clean metal board. I guess I have some cleaning to do as well. Sigh. Code brown in progress. That was call number 1. The rest of the shift went downhill. Don't want to talk about it. Yet. Alright, that was Every Minute Sucks, and I want to take this moment to appreciate you guys for watching the video, listening to the silly story, and I hope you will come back again next time for the Paramedic, Tales from alt.asteless. Don't forget, if you wish to support this channel, there are links in the description for you to do so. I thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.